What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I am ridiculously excited because I am finally able to bring you guys a Crimson Invasion deck, and the first one that I'm going to bring you is centered around none other than Buzzwole-GX. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you guys liked this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button. It helps us out a lot, and let's just do more cool stuff for you guys. And as for the question of the day, honestly, because this is the first day of Crimson Invasion, I'm just going to go with a very generic question, and that is, what was the first deck you guys built from this new set? For me, obviously, it's Buzzwole-GX. It seemed like the coolest one to do because of Jet Punch being basically Hammerhead from Landorus-EX, from Boundaries Crossed, I believe. And I saw that and I was like, you know what? Pair that with Regirock, pair that with like Choice Band, Kukui, and all of a sudden you have a pretty significantly hitting attack for a single energy with spread damage that could lead to some very interesting matchups and, yeah, very interesting situations as well. So I'm very excited that I am able to bring you a deck on this first day. Now, admittedly, I was kind of thinking that I wouldn't be able to, unfortunately. For the past, I think, year and a half maybe, I've been able to bring you guys a deck on the day that a new set came out, and I kind of prided myself on being able to do that. But this one seemed like it might not happen because, unfortunately, due to med school absolutely destroying me, I didn't have as much time as I would like to play to accumulate in-game coins, which I would normally use to be able to buy a bunch of locked packs. And also at the same time, the codes that I ordered, normally I make sure that I get ones that say email day of, so that way I can 100% for sure get them the day of. But unfortunately this time, due to being on such a strict budget, I just had to get the best deal that I could find. And so it was mail ordered, and so I was like, maybe I won't be able to do this. And based on the shipping, it said that it wouldn't get here until tomorrow, so I was like, darn it, my streak is ruined. But luckily, I come home from my exam today, check the mailbox, and there it is, a little box with all of my Crimson Invasion codes. I was so ridiculously excited. I just started pulling stuff from these packs. Well, not pulling stuff from these packs. I started putting these packs online, and then after pulling a little bit, I didn't really have too great of a pull rate, so I decided not to open as many as I usually do and just start trading them for the stuff that I need. Open enough to obviously get all the commons and uncommons that I would need for certain decks, but then just start trading for the different stuff, and luckily I was able to procure enough Buzzwoles to be able to bring this deck for you guys, and like I said, I'm incredibly excited. Now, admittedly, I haven't done as much research into this new set as I normally would like to do. In fact, I spent most of the time checking the Bulbapedia article just to see how many cards, which different cards I should look for, what ones I need to put in certain decks, etc., etc. But Buzzwole was one of those that I was like, you know what, it has the least amount that it necessarily needs from the rest of the set, so I think I'm just going to go for this one, and I had a pretty decent idea of what I wanted to do with it. So, sorry, I hit the desk right there. So, yeah, that's what I'm going with. It's centered around Buzzwole and Regirock, just basically attacking for one energy with Jet Punch, doing as much damage as we can to the active, and then spreading damage onto the benched Pokemon with the effect of Jet Punch. And it's really just kind of a one energy fighting toolbox type of deck, with obviously Buzzwole being the main attacker. Now, considering Buzzwole is the main attacker, we do have a weakness to Psychic that I will try to cover up a little bit later, as you guys probably already saw with the rest of the Mons. But Buzzwole in itself is actually really good. 190 HP, so very, very bulky for a basic. Jet Punch is the attack that this deck is centered around. Obviously, one energy you can stack with like Strong Energy, Choice Band, Regirock, that type of stuff. Knuckle Impact for 3 fighting energy. So what is it with like fighting Pokemon and having 1 fighting energy and then 3 fighting energy as the attacks? I don't really understand that, but either way, Knuckle Impact for 3 energy does 160 damage, but unfortunately Buzzwole cannot attack this next turn, so you had to find ways around it, which there definitely are. And then Absorption GX for 3 fighting energy once again does 40 damage for each of your remaining prize cards. So depending on the situation, this thing is not a late game finishing move. It's more of an early game, which is weird considering that it's 3 fighting energy, and normally you don't get 3 fighting energy until at the very soonest turn 3. So I mean, it's a really weird GX attack cost for the attack description. So honestly, I'm not too big of a fan of it, but I am a big enough fan of Jet Punch to be able, like the fact that Jet Punch does 30 to a bench and 30 active. So I mean, 1 energy, 60 damage, you can't really pass that up. Now there are a couple things that we do have to plug up with Buzzwole. I mean, it does have the weakness to Psychic, and considering Garbodor is a thing, I am going to run a couple copies of Zygarde-EX, the Jesus Zygarde, because I mean, come on, if that's not like a... That doesn't look exactly... It's not, I can't talk. If that's not supposed to be like a Christ metaphor, then I don't know what is. But really just kind of the same type of thing as Buzzwole. Attack for a good amount of damage with 1 energy, and then have bigger attacks as you attach more energy. Not the main attacker, though. Obviously, the main attacker is Buzzwole because it has a better effect for its 1 energy attack, and that's what this is centered around, obviously. But the fact that we can have difference in weakness is always very nice. I decided to tech in a single copy of Marshadow because, I mean, really... Marshadow is just kind of there as a, well, I have a Zygarde and a Buzzwole in my discard pile. I can't get one out right now, but Marshadow's like, hey, I can use really whatever attacks they have and they want to go for. And also something kind of cool, if Lele's in the discard pile and you have 2 strong energy on Marshadow, it can use energy drive with 2 strong energy, which is kind of cool. But really, Marshadow's just kind of a tech attacker. And then also, it's kind of in here for the GX attack, but not as much because Buzzwole's GX attack is what I want to go for, but in some situations I just can't because it's not practical given the situations. So Marshadow being able to hit for like 100 damage if you just attach 2 energy on there at the very least, and then top that off with Strong Energy Choice Band Regirock, it can be a better GX attack, but really this is just kind of a, okay, I have a bunch of stuff in my discard pile, which attack do I want to use? Now, considering that I'm also running for Regirock as well, just Regipower fighting Pokemon do 10 more damage to your opponent's active. Straight up, and 2 Lele for Wonder Tag, and also Energy Drive. I mean, it can have basic energy attached to it, and then be able to Wonder Tag, grab whatever supporter we want. So that's just invaluable, particularly in this metagame, so you have to have Lele in there. And I noticed that, okay, this deck is good. Well, this deck can have, well, I don't necessarily want to say good, because that's passing judgment too quickly. This deck has promise, but it does kind of lose to Hoopa, the Hoopa from Shining Legends, and also Ninetales. So I wanted to have a non-GX or EX attacker, so I decided to just tech in 1 copy of Hitmonchan, once again with the whole 1 energy hit for damage thing, and then pump that up with Kukui Strong Energy, Fighting Fury Belt Choice Band, all that good stuff. So Hitmonchan is just a way of not losing to Hoopa or... Ninetales automatically. As for the items, I'm going to speed this up a little bit because you guys don't want to hear me talk. You want to see me do some matches. 1 escape rope because these things do have very hefty retreat costs and we don't always have the Guzma or Float Stone when we need them. So escape rope is just kind of an early game and item way of getting out of the active spot. 2 Field Blower because we do rely on abilities, and also we have enough EX and GX Pokemon that Choice Band can be annoying to us, so we're just going to get rid of those off of our opponent's Pokemon. For recursion, 1 Special Charge for the Strong Energy, 1 Super Rod for Pokemon and Energy. I prefer Super Rod over Rescue Stretcher, just because it allows us to put energy back into our deck as well. 4 Ultra Ball to guarantee get what we want when we want. 4 absolute max number Brooklet Hill. Now I tried running 3, but this was just kind of a personal thing. If I ran 3, I never had Brooklet Hill when I wanted it, but when I ran 4, suddenly I just had it. So you can try out 3, definitely. That's what I started with, and that's kind of my instinct. But this was just a personal... I could never get Brooklet Hill when I wanted it when I ran 3, so I decided to go 4. As for the supporters, 4-4-3 of Sycamore and Guzma. That's somewhat standard at this point. I admittedly haven't kept up with the meta as much as I want to, but still that's just kind of what people seem to be going with, or at least talking to Orobomb. I'm also running 3 copies of Acerola because being able to just let Buzzwole take a hit, and then pick that thing up, go into your Float Stone Mon, play down Buzzwole, play down the Strong Energy, play down the Choice Band, and then Buzzwole is just completely fresh and able to attack again, is very, very valuable in this deck. Just deny your opponent prizes while hitting very hard for 1 energy is what this deck is all about. And then 1 Kukui, just personal tech. I love Kukui, and just 20 more damage when you need it while getting a couple cards. As for the tools, 2 Choice Band. Fighting Fury Belt is the tool of choice, though, because it gives extra longevity, and the difference in 20 damage, I prefer more longevity over that 20 damage, because Fighting Fury Belt gives you an extra 10 and longevity in every situation, while Choice Band only hits EXs and GXs for more. But again, personal preference, definitely try out your own numbers of Choice Band and Fighting Fury Belt and let me know what works best for you. 3 Float Stones, because again, we have very fat Pokemon that we don't want to have to pay the retreat cost for, so this is able to, especially on Regirock, just slap that on there and then free retreat that thing out. 4 Strong Energy, absolute max number. I would play more if I could, but unfortunately I can't, so we are running 7 Fighting Energy as well. Again, a little bit high, considering this deck is all about attacking for single energies, but you know me, I'm paranoid about not having energy at this point, so I just went with 7 Fighting Energy because I like how that number 11 looks in the energy tab. So yeah, that's the deck. Now let's just go ahead and see it in action. Alrighty, we have found our first match of, well, first game of Crimson Invasion against, I didn't even check their name because I was too busy thinking about saying that the fact that this was our first Crimson Invasion match, but it's a Fox Glem with, it was like a fire fighting something, or I didn't even see what all it was. Probably Psychic in there because Lele's a thing. And unfortunately we do lose the coin flip, which really isn't that big of a deal for us because we are able to attack immediately with that 1 energy and potentially pick off little baby basics. And I start off with a gorgeous hand. Wow. It's actually really nice because what I can do is Buzzwole and Regirock, play the Strong Energy onto Buzzwole, and then yeah, with Finnegan having 60 HP, all I need is another Regirock, which I can just Ultra Ball for, and then Sycamore away my hand. So this is a very gorgeous start. Like, this is exactly what I want, and I'm hoping that this is how the live is going to go, just picking off stuff early that my opponent likes, and then being able to just Oko big things later after I spread around damage, and then just potentially keep my opponents from setting up in ideal situations. He does end me though, which is a little unfortunate. However, I like my hand. I saw that Strong Energy first, and I was like, you know what, this is okay. I am going to barely miss out. Actually, no, with the Strong Energy, I still KO. I forgot about the Regirock 10. So I'm still going to be able to knock out this Finnegan with my Strong Energy, and that's honestly perfect for me. Like, I'll be able to knock out his energy and his Float Stone while spreading damage onto the Turtonator, and oh boy. Okay, so he got a Choice Band and an energy onto Turtonator and didn't retreat Finnegan out, so we're going to get a prize right here. Just attach the Strong Energy. I don't have to play anything else. I'm holding off on my Field Blower because I want to wait until his Turtonator gets another energy on it, because this way he only has 1 turn to get another Choice Band, not 2. And if he does get a Choice Band and Bright Flames me, then my Buzzwole gets knocked out. So right here, I mean, if he does draw into another Choice Band, he will probably be inclined to put it on something else. That way Turtonator will not be able to have it when he's actually able to attack, and I might be able to have my Buzzwole survive the turn, which would be phenomenal. At that point, I can just Acerola it up, and I can just Acerola it up, play it back down, and go from there. So that's what I'm going to do this turn. He now has enough energy. He does play the Kiawe, which means that he must have a Sycamore in his hand. He must, otherwise he wouldn't have done that. So what I'm going to do now is get rid of the Choice Band, like I said. Jet Punch will be doing... Let's go ahead and actually play another Strong Energy on it. That way, Jet Punch next turn does get the knockout. And I'm just crossing my fingers right now that he doesn't have the Choice Band, because if he does have the Choice Band, then my Buzzwole will get knocked out. And oh boy, he can Sycamore. No Choice Band, please. Please no Choice Band, because then Buzzwole lives, and I will be able to take out this Turtonator, especially if I draw into a Choice Band. That would be ideal. But otherwise, Otherwise, I think I'm in a phenomenal spot. Yes, he does not get the Choice Band and just Bright Flame, so I'm going to be able to knock this thing out while powering up Hitmonchan in the background, and I get a Float Stone for my Regirock. This is going to be great because I can Acerola next turn. He does not have an attack next turn. Like, he does not have... I mean, he can Nitro... I guess he can Shell Trap, but that won't be a knockout on my Buzzwole. So basically, he does not have a knockout next turn, and I can just start powering up Hitmonchan in the background and then Float Stone up my Regirock for the Acerola play that I was talking about. But yeah, my opponent sees that I would be able to take the knockout that turn. He wouldn't be able to knock me out that next turn, and Buzzwole would be able to take at least 2 prizes, if not 1 more, with the other attack next turn if I decided to go that route. But yeah, that was a very quick first game, exactly how I wanted this deck to run. Didn't get a draw support, but that doesn't matter. All you need is Buzzwole, Strong Energy, and Regirock to win. So let's go ahead and find another one with this deck. Alrighty, we have found another one, and oh boy, this is going to be tough because it looks like, I mean, I don't know what the water is, but I saw the Grass and Psychic, both of which hit all of my mons super effectively except for Lele, and we even start with Lele, so not the greatest start at all. Yeah, this is not the greatest by any means. Yeah. We'll see what my opponent is running, and it's Golisopod. So I actually top-decked the Buzzwole, which is pretty nice, and then, well, not Golisopod, it's Wimpod, but he is running Golisopod because of the Wimpod that we saw. But either way, that means I'm not going to go Zygarde, and let's just go ahead and grab a Regirock. And if this is just a Golisopod deck, I might be able to take it on, considering I have a basic, and he has a Stage 1 deck. So I am just going to go ahead and play the energy, or the Float Stone onto the Lele, energy up my Buzzwole, and then I think retreat to avoid any... Yeah, I'm going to retreat to avoid any potential Guzma stall plays, or like Field Blower, keeping me from being able to attack. And there's a Garbodor, or Trubbish as well, will evolve into Garbodor. So basically, this is going to be a very, very, very rough matchup for us because both of my main attackers will be weak to something of his, and he can OHKO me. He can OHKO both of my attackers with a single energy, so this is going to be a very uphill battle for us. Like, that's not going to go... This is not going to go well. So he's going to go retreat into his Trubbish, and I have a decision. Do I want to just take out the Trubbish, as it's the biggest threat to my Buzzwole right now, or do I want to target down the Wimpod? He is going to Choice Band up the Trubbish, which means... Yeah, I think I'm just going to want to take that thing down ASAP, because Choice Banded Garbodor, even if I don't play items, is just something that I really don't want to deal with, so the sooner I can take that thing out, the better. And boy, this is going to be rough. And he gets another Wimpod down, so yeah, I'm just going to take out this Trubbish. It'd be one thing if he only had one Wimpod, then I would obviously go for the energy, but he has another Wimpod as well, meaning I might as well take out the immediate threat to my Buzzwole, considering that's the route I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with this match. And okay, so we get some decent stuff. Finny comes down, Tapu Storm will be able to disrupt me. So I think let's just go ahead and Kukui, that way I guaranteed have the OHKO on this Trubbish. I get another Regirock and a Brooklet Hill, which is phenomenal actually. Like, those are the 2 perfect cards for me, because I'm not only able to get another Regirock, I'm going to grab a Zygarde as well, because I know that it is weak to Golisopod, but at the same time, I mean, if he's going to be able to Guzma stuff up, he'll be able to take out the Regirocks anyway. This keeps me from having something that's just 100% weak to Garbodor, and actually having an attacker that makes him spread out and not just focus on having Garbodors and knocking out Buzzwoles. So yeah, let's take out this Trubbish, take a prize, and we're in a decent spot. I think what I could have done was play the energy on Buzzwole and just go for the OHKO on Golisopod next turn, but then all of my energy would be gone if he just got another Golisopod and a single energy. So yeah, he does have the Golisopod. He probably has the Float Stone as well, so he will be able to First Impression me this turn, get 120 damage off. And also this Not putting all my energy on Buzzwole opens up the Acerola play for me to be able to just heal up all the damage off of my Buzzwole, go into my Tapu Lele, and then retreat out. So that's, I think that's going to be the route I'm going to try to go if he doesn't have anything else. And he has a Sycamore again, so he's just, I mean, he's just filling up his hand. And as long as I don't see any Trash Lynch Garbados, actually this is going to be really tough with 2 Golysopods because those things do not go down, and he does get the Float Stone unfortunately, so I'm not able to get even more damage onto the Golysopod. So yeah, getting that Float Stone off the Sycamore was unfortunate, but given his deck, it was likely going to happen. So what I am going to do right here is get another Buzzwole, as he does not have a Garbodor on deck. Like, well, he doesn't have a Trubbish on deck, meaning he can't have a Garbodor next turn, so let's just go ahead and pick up the Buzzwole, play the Tapu Lele down there, and then, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and Fighting Fury Belt up this guy, play the Strong Energy on there, and this will allow me to 2-hit KO this Golysopod. Let's spread damage to this Golysopod on the bench. Actually, will it allow me to 2-hit KO? Because, no, not quite, I need 10 more damage. But I think, and he has an Acerola of his own, so that is very bad. Yeah, that's really bad, because then all that damage is just gone. He will be able to have another first impression this turn, and yeah, this is going downhill. This is starting to go downhill, because now that it's set up, I mean, Garbodor Golysopod is a very, very, very good deck. It is a top-tier deck. It's very difficult to take down, and if played properly, then it can beat a lot of different stuff. And so, I mean, you're forced to use resources to take out Golysopod. Garbodor punishes you for using resources. So this is difficult for me, to say the least. And so I am going to start powering up my Buzzwole on the bench. I mean, I really don't have much I can do, especially because I don't have a supporter at all. So I'm just going to go for another Jet Punch, knock out... I want to target... I'm going to target the Trubbish because Garbodor will go down to multiple bench snipings. Now, this is where playing the energy onto Zygarde actually kind of bit me in the butt. Because if I hadn't played that energy onto Zygarde, I would have had 3 energy on Buzzwole at this point, which would have allowed me to one-shot this Golysopod, meaning that he... I mean, he would have one less Golysopod, obviously, but... Okay, never mind, he has the Rainbow anyway. So he would have been able to attack and knock me out, particularly with the Float Stone on Lele, or on Finny, and there's the Lele, and of course he has the Lele. He's going to grab an Acerola, yep. So, oh, that's super frustrating. Man, that is super, super frustrating that my opponent has that. So, I mean, he's getting... And I mean, okay, I'm not saying that my opponent is just getting super lucky and that's the only reason he's beating me. No, he's playing this very, very well. Like, his deck is just better. Like, it's better equipped. Like, it has type advantage against both of my attackers. So, I'm playing this as best as I can, but my opponent is playing very well with the advantage that he has, as well as having good top decks. So, how do I want to do this? I'm just going to play the energy onto Buzzwole, potentially have a better attack later. And then I'm not going to play my Zygarde down because he's clearly going the Golysopod route. I mean, Garbodor is up as a threat, but it's not going to be doing a whole heck of a lot. So I'm just going to stick with the Buzzwole route, go for the Jet Punch. Keep targeting down that Garbodor because the sooner I take that thing out, I mean, that's one more prize and then I'll be at an even prize number. If I take out another Golysopod or Finny or Lele beyond this, I should be good. And unfortunately, I don't have any Ns. I would really, really like an N just to be able to disrupt my opponent's hand. I mean, the fact that he's getting prizes and he's probably going to be able to take 2 more relatively soon here. Gets another energy onto his Golysopod, so that is not going well. And of course, he has the Guzma as well. So, okay, so now I'm starting to get a little bit salty because of, okay, my opponent's getting lucky. My opponent's getting lucky at this point. And, so, I mean, he put himself in this position, and he was probably going to win anyway. Like, I'm just being honest about, like, the matchup. Just the matchup was very negative for us. Like, that's just kind of how it goes, and and I'm not making excuses, I'm just explaining the nature of the matchup. Like, my opponent is playing extremely well. My opponent's playing very, very well. Like, he is deserving of being in the position that he is in. I'm not saying anything otherwise. I am going to try to take out this Golisopod, as that I think is my only way of winning. And as long as he doesn't have a Guzma, this Buzzwole actually will be able to survive a turn. I can escape rope, and then I do have to grab another Regirock, and then I actually might be able to win next turn. So let's go ahead and get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would be 5. As long as he doesn't get a Choice Band on Garbodor, he won't be able to knock me out. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of both Float Stones off of Finny and Trubbish, and if I can, and I'm going to go for the knockout on this Golisopod. So, I mean, I could have gone for the GX attack, but I don't know. I just kind of want to save that for, I guess it doesn't really matter at this point. But, okay, if he doesn't knock me out this turn, then I actually can, I have a chance. I have a very good chance of staying in this game. My opponent just can't have another, of course he has another Guzma. Alright, so that's frustrating. I mean, it was already a very uphill match to begin with, and then my opponent got very, very fortunate top decks, just always having the perfect support. I mean, okay, he played very well. He played incredibly well, picking the right supporter for the situation and knowing when to use it, but the fact that he was able to have those was frustrating and just kind of led to the situation that it did end up as. So very well played by my opponent. We got beat by a deck that had the type advantage and against a good opponent. That's how it's going to go. That's how a matchup where your opponent has a type advantage against a good opponent is going to go. So unfortunately we do lose that one. Buzzwole still put in a good amount of work, and yeah, I'm not ending it there. We are going to try to end this off with a win. Alrighty, we have found another one against AoE Likes Bacon, and this is against another grass deck, so 100% not using Zygarde, but we don't see Psychic, meaning that Buzzwole will probably get to shine pretty well in this matchup, and wow, once again, we start perfectly. This is this is great. Wow. So start off with Buzzwole, able to get a Regirock on the bench, able to Float Stone up the Regirock, Fighting Fury Belt up the Buzzwole. I mean, I can play Lele for a Sycamore or whatever I want to play, and we see Bulbasaur. So this is a very interesting deck, to say the least. Yeah, so this is, okay, so we're not up against a meta deck, but the fact that we didn't see that my opponent was running Lele due to the fact that there were no Psychic Pokemon did kind of tell me that to begin with. But regardless, we're still going to play this out, and he's playing Lurantis. Okay, so this is a Venusaur deck. Like, my opponent's trying to do something cool. Okay, so it's not just an unorthodox deck. It's a cool, it's an attempting to do something kind of neat type of deck, which I can 100% respect. Like, I love when people try to do that. So I'm going to grab another Regirock that way, even with just a regular... Well, actually, I need a Strong Energy in order to be able to knock out the Buzzwole, and I could go greedy right there and grab the Kukui for the extra 20 damage, but, I mean, I figure my chances of getting a Strong Energy are better than just any energy off of 2 cards, and, well, lo and behold, I get plenty of stuff, and Fomantis can actually go down. So what I'm going to do is escape rope, send the Bulbasaur to the bench, bring that Fomantis up, that way I can one-shot it with Buzzwole, and give my opponent less of a chance to set up. Let's Strong Energy the Buzzwole, retreat the Regirock into Buzzwole, and then knock out this Fomantis while putting the Bulbasaur in range as well. I mean, it was in range of a Jet Punch next turn anyway, but just multiple Jet Punches. Even like Ivysaur, putting that in range depending on how much HP it has, although I can't imagine it being over 110, and unfortunately that is enough to cause my opponent to concede. And yeah, I said I wanted to end on a win, but that was a little bit too fast, so let's try to find one more and hope that it's a little bit longer than this one. Alrighty, we have found another one, and my roommates have just started blasting music, so if you can hear that in the background, sorry, but it seems like I am kind of, I mean, I'm starting to wrap this up. We're reaching the end of the video, so I mean, it seems like I have very good timing on my end, and we are up against what looks like a Volcanion deck, and wow, I start with Buzzwole again. That's actually pretty darn amazing. I mean, I only run 3 Buzzwole, and I start with it every single time, so we are getting very lucky on our opening hands, but I'll take that. We do see the Staryu, which, I mean, to be fair, we already kind of knew that it was Volcanion based on the Fire, Water, and Psychic composition, but the Staryu 100% confirms it. And yeah, so I'm actually interested to see how this plays out. I think we might be able to win depending on how we are able to spread around the damage and how quickly I can get like Regirock's Choice Bands and Strong Energy along with Acerola's, because if I'm able to two-shot everything with one energy and then just continually deny him prizes, then I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to win this. So he does just go ahead and go into his Volcanion with an energy, and then he is going to be able to Lele probably for a Sycamore, I would guess. I'm hoping for an N. Or grabs a Lily instead. Okay, that works. That works out too. I mean, I was hoping for an N because, I mean, I have a whole lot of supporters in my hand that I really don't want to play all that much. I mean, I have Sycamore that I probably am going to play. Or N, actually, considering how much he has in his hand. But he is playing his hand down incredibly fast, so I'm probably just going to be getting rid of a bunch of N's early on, which is not something you want to do. You want to save those for late game or like shuffle draws, but at the same time, considering my opponent's playing his hand low, I don't want to give him a fresh hand of 6 because Volcanion is incredibly dangerous if you give them enough cards and enough time to set up, so that's not something that I'm going to want to do at all, and he does double Steam Up right there. Honestly, don't know why, because he can't attack, and wow. So, top deck the Strong Energy, and unfortunately I'm going to be getting rid of a Float Stone, but considering he has one card, I do not want to end him into a fresh hand of 6. Like, that's just a no-go. And I am going to be able to play the Brooklet Hill for a Regirock, which, I mean, works out well. I'm going to get another Buzzwole, and then I can Jet Punch. Turtonator is probably going to be his secondary attacker, so I am going to start targeting that thing down. I could target down the Staryu, but honestly, I'm not overly worried about it, given the situation. So, yeah, he can do what he wants. He is going to get just a Fire Energy onto his Turtonator, and I'm glad that he was impatient and decided to Steam Up twice last turn instead of being able to Steam Up twice this turn, because that would put me in a very bad spot. And what I will be able to do here is power up my other Buzzwole on the bench, get another Regirock, play the Float Stone onto the Regirock, and I'm not going to Sycamore just yet because I have the energy in my hand, and if I have energy, I don't really need anything else right now, so I might as well not get rid of resources if I just have them. And he's going to be able to go into Turtonator. So if he gets an energy and a Steam Up, he'll be able to OHKO my Buzzwole. But otherwise, okay, he does just have one energy in the discard pile, so he will only be able to Bright Flame, be 10 damage away from the knockout, and then I can just Lele for an Acerola to pick up my Buzzwole this turn, and then just play it right back down and then just go into my Regirock and Float Stone that thing up, and no, my opponent forfeits as well. So unfortunately, I didn't get to do the awesome Acerola play, being only 10 damage away from dying, but we clearly would have been able to win that as my opponent wasn't able to get anything else going. So yeah, that is the deck, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed playing this. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.